Hi, this is Janelle, the relationship coach behind The Successful Invisible. And I wanted to come to you with a dating tip today because of just some recent things I've seen on social media. Now, the dating tip is men are not more logical, men are linear. So what's behind this is I was scrolling through social media, and as you know, we hear all the time, men are more logical creatures, blah, 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 and all of this foolishness. Yet, at the same time, we see men do the most unhinged things for no reason. There is no logical reason. A man flipping out because a woman said, no, thank you, you can't have my phone number. A man, harming a woman. A man physically assaulting a woman who's like half his size. None of these things equal logic. What the reality is, and this is generalities, but the male brain usually processes information in a more linear manner, meaning in a more sequential pattern where one thing at a time is handled. So A, B, and C. By contrast, women's brains take a more holistic approach, and there's more interconnectivity between the way our brain processes information from the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere of the brain, right? And this is why women are actually more logical, because they can think more holistically to come up with a solution to a problem. And a lot of times they can do so by bringing in nuance and things, and tone and et cetera of a situation. Men who have male brains are able to usually execute maybe a little more quickly because it's very straightforward in the way they think. Now, here's the caveat. There are women with male brains and there are men with female brains. Please note, this has nothing to do with someone's sexual orientation. This is strictly in the way that a person's brain processes information. And I mean processing like a default way that they process information. Understand other variables that impact this include someone's environment, how they grew up, the level of training they have within themselves or they've done to develop different skills. So someone's default or natural way that they think does not mean that that's the way they think as an adult. They've done all these things to enhance the way they think. You see what I mean? So men are not logical. They are linear. And when men say this, the men who are usually saying this are usually doing the most illogical shit anyway. So disregard. But I just want to make that clear that next time you hear that, I need you to reframe it as men are not logical, they're linear. And then the man who's saying that, I want you to ask him to give you examples of how something is logical. It probably is his behavior in the moment. It's probably not logical. But anyway, remember that tip. Men are not more logical. They're linear. And that has absolutely everything to do with the way the male brain, in a general sense, processes information in a sequential manner, one thing at a time, as compared to the female brain or a female brain where holistic thinking takes place. There's more interconnection between data points within the brain and between the hemispheres, and women have a fuller view or a wider view when they are processing information, and that the output of their decisions will depend on a larger range of factors. Okay? So let me know your thoughts about this dating tip, because I kept seeing that this morning, and I wanted to come to you with this because men aren't more logical. They're just more linear.
It's illogical to see a woman that you say you love in an emotional state, and instead of trying to align with her, as it were, to fix the problem, you dismiss her feelings because she's being too emotional. Take responsibility for what it is that you did to cause this emotional reaction. So logic should tell you to pay attention to how she's feeling, empathize with her, and help her resolve the conflict.
Another scam is men being logical. If they were logical, they would think long term. They don't. They only think about their desires for the moment. They don't care about long term. They don't care if they end up walking around dry and crippled. They don't care if they lose you. Like, they don't care how long they've been with you. They don't care about the time wasted. They don't care. Like, they don't care if they end up in nursing homes. They don't care how they die. Like, they don't care. They don't care. That's not logical thinking. They care about their kids. and the well-being of their children. So it's like, how is that even logical? Well, what is really going on? Then let's get into the emotions of it. They wanna feel good, right? That's what their desires. They're fleshy, bottom feed energy. They want to feel good. They want to feel an emotion. And so they're actually more emotional than anything. Okay. They just manipulate to master emotion, but tell them no, ignore them, don't pay them no attention. The door, leave them, break their little heart. They be shitting all over the place. From anxiety, guilt, shame, fear, you will see emotions. So logically, if we talk about logically, they only care about women's loyalty and being loyal to their bullshit. And suffering and struggling with them, no matter how far under the ground we go, no matter what we sharing him with, whether it's another woman, man, animal, lust, perversion, pornography, and no matter how good you are to people, I can be an asshole and I'm suffering karma every day. Bad shit happening to me every day, okay? But as long as you suffer with me, I don't care. That's logical thinking to a man.